we head into Champions Select for game number 2 between Saints and LGD. As Vladimir is immediately going to be one of the bans that come out here for LGD. Irelia been taken away again, as Karma and Brom are the 2 bans coming out from Saint.
Yeah, so LGD really do think Vlad is that first pickable. Probably don't want to give away Rise either, so I'm expecting it to join the Vlad on the bench.
As good old Bardo is going to hit the bench as well. Saint banned that one out here. Game number 2 against LGD. LGD do have the final ban. They could go for that Rise ban, but instead opt for a Rek'Sai ban.
So
instead,
throwing the gauntlet. That is interesting because when you have Vlad versus Rise, I agree with leaving it up. But this time they don't have the Vladimir to be able to bully him around in the laning phase. Don't even have something like a Karma that can nullify. Interested to see what they play into this.
Means the Saint, they're going to get Rise one more time here against LGD. Probably going to be Snoopy playing that champion again. I'll have to see if they do lock that one in. I would be very surprised if they don't, because that just leaves it completely open for Punished or Marin.
They have to lock this in, like the gauntlet has been thrown down. Rise is 99% pick ban in the LPL right now. Only the EDG versus Vici game that ruined that stat for us.
Ruined it! Again. And Alistar for most of Spring Split, 100% pick ban.
Was it
meant to be Rise?
EDG that ruined the Alistar one as well? I want to go back and check.
No, I do want to check as well. And LGD to respond immediately with the Trundle and Elise pickup here. Elise was actually banned away from Amy last game. So, morale boosting champion removed from the LGD lineup.
Acorn's a huge Hecarim player. I'm sure March can also play it in the jungle, but was really one of the champions that Acorn excelled on.
He's up against Marin's Trundle this game. Well, it should be Marin's Trundle, right?
Yeah.
There is a chance we could see PYL pick it up, but highly unlikely.
Yeah, no, that's definitely Marin's champion right there.
So he's up against another comfort pick coming up from LGD. See if they do go for that Hecarim, but for now it seems like they want to pick up their jungler and their support first. Myton did have a really good game on Thresh, so locking that one in for him again could be worthwhile for the Saint lineup. They do go for Graves one more time with March, so almost the exact same team comp coming out from Saint so far.
Yeah, 100%. And I want to say whether they go like earlier on their AD carry, do they grab something like a Lucian and like a Hecarim combo, which would be, you know, a little bit more early scrappy team fight, you feel, than what the last composition was, which was a lot more scaling. Wouldn't be surprised to see LGD one more time go towards Sivir, especially because they've got a Trundle on the board. Very important to be able to boost that movement speed and get it done. But you don't really feel like LGD is being pushed right now. Although Victor versus Rise isn't a great matchup for the Victor, to be honest. Rise can win that lane.
To be fair, it is punished most played champion this split so far. It should be for a lot of mid laners. As it is going to be locked in. Sivir is the pickup of choice for Imp one more time. The Saints are looking to finalize their team composition, which with what should be a top laner and a AD carry pickup.
Yeah, Rumble actually has a really cool matchup into Trundle at the moment because Trundle can't push back versus Rumble. It's actually quite difficult, and then they're running pretty much a no-tank build comp right here. So I think that's a good pickup right now if Acorn does want to go back towards it. He is one of the better Rumble players. And Rumble Lucian would give them a great mid-game spike here. Don't like the Caitlyn. Get off Caitlyn.
Have to see if SUIC listens to you. LG will be able to respond to these 2 picks with a final pick of their own, which should be their support, surprisingly. Yep. So picking in position, LGD have been.
They have. They just all picked their own champions, and it is going to be Caitlyn locked in. So SUIZ, once again, going towards the 3-item spiking AD carry.
But we will get Acorn on Rumble here, so no tanks coming in for the Saints lineup. As LGD make a couple of swaps to their roster with the Victor and Elise pick up here. PYL still looking for his final champion of choice.
Soraka would make a lot of sense in this composition. I mean, Soraka can put the silencing field underneath the Rise, stop the machine gun. Also, because they are quite mid-range, helps out a lot there. Nami does something similar, you know, has the layering of CC with the wave, with the bubble that can really wreck Rise's day, as well as some good healing as the game goes on. Morgana does neither of those things. It doesn't really fit in the trend at all, but is being rotated, so...
Probably lock it in just for you, Spawn.
No, I'm happy. I like Morgana. Let's do it.
Still waiting to see what PYL decides to pick up for his team. There's always a possibility that he'd be playing Trundle in this game, but highly unlikely. Even if he does pick in Morgana, we've seen Marin play that top lane a few times during Spring Split, and it is the Morgana pickup for LGD. Interesting champion choice.
And as you said, Marin has played at top lane, but he's not going to this game. That would be a real spanner to throw in the work. Just a little bit too much laning dominance given over to a Thresh Caitlyn lane, if that is what you're looking for. But LGD run a very similar comp to what was game 1. We'll see if this time around Saint can get ahead.
Saint at the same time, very similar team comp, except for the Swain being swapped out for a Rumble. So these two teams are going to clash one more time with very similar styles. Should be another very bloody game between these two teams.
Yeah, and this time there is a little bit more hope for Saint because, as you mentioned, you know, Rumble being swapped out for Swain, he has much better control throughout the early stages of the game, should be able to facilitate a lot of the scrappy team fights that were breaking out and LGD were winning. So I do like that adaptation, but pressure on March to be able to match Amy's early pressure that he was able to get rolling in that game. He really was facilitating a lot of the dives.
Interested to see what Amy can do on this Elise and heading into this game. Was banned out against him in game number 1, and more importantly, like you mentioned, see what March can do in response on this Graves as we head into the game number 2 between Saint and LGD. We've let it on to Summoner's Rift one more time here for Saint up against LGD. LGD is still standing 1-0 against the Saint lineup, who have yet to find a series victory here in the summer split of the LPL. The last time these two teams clashed during cross-conference in Spring Split, it was where HYG, now known as Saint, were able to find their first win in the Spring Split of the LPL.
It certainly was. This time, March has not gone with Thunderlords, and we have a fight.
Already down in the bottom lane, STYZ taking so much damage. The hook's going to be put back down on towards PYL. They're not giving up without a fight.
PYL missed the bind there. If it had gone through, probably would have resulted in a kill.
Still burns the flash from STYZ. We saw now it's a trade, so Imp was the one that got his flash burnt last game. Now STYZ has lost his.
Exhaust burn by PYL in response. Expecting to see a lane swap one more time out of LGD. They probably don't want the Trundle into the Rumble lane. It is a little bit annoying for the Trundle.
Let's see if they do go for it.
Yeah, lane
it is going to be
gone.
LGD that starts the lane swap here. Low lane swap in response coming out from Saint.
And they won the lane swap convincingly last time, so not really surprised to see this come through.
So double jungle going to be starting off between Amy and Marin.
Yeah, no invasion coming out of both AD carry and support. LGD only take the little one. They want to get a lot more tempo in this lane swap. See if they can bully Marin off, Acorn off 3 of the creeps, which they do. He doesn't go up there.
Meanwhile, STYZ and Maidong are able to take down both the Krugs in the bottom lane.
And Marin gets the CS for it, so big trade in advantage of LGD.
So we'll have to see how this lane swap pans out, because we saw, I think it was Saint that swapped back to try and match it, and then LGD went back into a swap again. It just kept happening and happening every time LGD found a dive onto Acorn. This PYL going to take a full flame spitter to the face there.
But he's trading quite effectively with the auto attacks. Ooh, nearly managed to get himself a big wolf. Not to be today, PYL.
Close. But no Graves. Snoopy here up against Punish in the mid lane. Be pretty isolated for now.
Should suit the Victor player, who has a lot more pushing potential, at least at the earlier stages of the game. And top laners will join the lane swap, and here we go, into the turret. So we'll see whether LGD one more time are able to get a big advantage. You can see that Myron's level 2 before joining the swap. Not to be the case for Acorn, who also isn't going to get any experience from these creeps. They're being held pretty far away.
Yep. STVZ and Maidong are able to hold it up quite nicely off of the turret. There's a bit of farm that went up. LGD are already working on taking down the top lane outer turret, so a little bit more of a standard lane swap to start things off at least.
Yeah, and you know, as we said, this should suit the Ryze, because Ryze should be isolated in a lane where he's able to get towards tier, get towards roller, and actually start scaling into the latter stages of the game. So this is good so far for Saint. Not being, you know, run around the map as much as they were in game 1 should suit them, and they should be able to get Acorn in a better position.
Both turrets are going to fall down around the same time here. LGD are going to distribute the gold among 3 members, so are Saint. Immediately recalls going to be coming out from the AD carries and supports of both lanes here. Oh no, just of the LGD lineup. So STYZ and Maidong are going to stay down and try to take down the Ocean Dragon with the help of March.
Yeah, so they'll be able to grab that one. A lot of farm will go over right now to the Trundle while this is happening. And the lane swap should start from a little bit further back for LGD, so the lane should stack up nice and big. You can see that the Trundle trying to get the early vision of whether Acorn is coming up in the 1v1.
Maron doing what he can to pick up as much farm as possible here. This time round, he's only about 4 CS ahead of Acorn. Doesn't have a very stark contrast between game 1 and 2 here. At this stage, he was already up 20 CS. So Acorn is going to head up to the top side of the map here. So the Rumble is going to go up against the Trundle for now. Seems like no swaps are coming out just yet. STYZ and Maidong are going to head down to the bottom lane to go up against Imp and PYL.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting, the fact that STYZ and Maidong are not going to match a swap for the second time around, because we said that, you know, tier being picked up, that's good, but that's only the first step right now for Saint. They should be looking to trade objectives as much as possible. They got the Dragon for their trouble as well. Instead, they look like they're going to go into standard lanes and see if they can fight head-to-head. That's a risk.
Now, a very quiet game between these two teams. You know, start off with action level 1. The flash is back up and available on STYZ, so there was no capitalization on that summoner cell being burnt. Oh, we're just going into classic lane swaps where the two teams swap around, making this a very quiet game.
Yeah, it certainly is. Finally, a big push coming into the bottom lane. We'll see whether the Elise goes down there, sees if they can affect some form of gank. Mid lane has just been back and forward. Ryze doing a great job of staying relevant in this one.
CYZ does get caught by the binding there, but no follow-up coming out from Imp. It's a big wave that does crash on towards the turret. CYZ should be able to farm up a lot of this, though.
And one more time, you feel like the scaling composition should be in Saint's favor. I mean, they have Caitlyn, they have Ryze, they have a very good team fighting AD carry in the Graves. Versus what is an Elise that will fall off, you know. Very hard for Trundle to get in range this game versus Caitlyn, versus the Rumble. So really, you should like Saint's composition, especially given the fact that the first 7 minutes of the game has gone dead even.
And it still is dead even here. Both teams have about 10,000 gold apiece. This mid lane still heavily isolated. Snoopy is slowly picking up a small CS lead for himself in the mid lane. He's about a wave ahead of Punished right now. So Hook does lane on towards PYL. The Black Shield is down, so can't stop any of that crowd control. And it's TYZ, though, a little bit too low to follow up with the engage. And Amy has now made his way down towards the bottom side of this map.
Yeah, just poking back and forward. Imp and PYL is continually shoving in what is a lane without a turret. So there's a huge risk factor here. Good deep vision obtained from the Elise, and SDYZ, she's going to be content to sit back and try and farm this one up.
So we can take a look at the items that have been picked up so far after the initial lane source have gone through. Trundle already gone for that Tiamat on the Trundle. Yes, Trundle on Trundle. Meanwhile, Acorn has not been able to pick up any major items just yet, sitting on the Boots and the Amplifying Tome. Whereas mid lane Ryze already stacking up his tier. Both junglers pick up the first upgrade for their jungle items.
And this is interesting, right? Because both of the lanes that are pushing in have got slight advantages. I mean, Acorn's up about 9 CS. He's been overextended for an incredibly long time. Same can be said about the bottom lane right now for LGD. They've been underneath that turret the entirety. Haven't really been punished for it at all by March. Not much CC that can come out. And in fact, they're going to play the opposite sides of the map. They're playing their weak sides instead of playing their strong sides.
March looking to try and take away the Krugs from Amy, who's also on the top side of the map. Acorn sitting in this brush, trying to help him out.
Yeah, got level 6 off it, actually. Acorn also has his level 6. This is dangerous for Amy to even look to contest. Looks like they're trying to pull the Morgana over as well, but Rise beat him there.
There goes the ultimate coming out from the Rumble there. Amy going to try and get the heck out of there. Snoopy was chasing him down too. Marin's up on the top side of the map. There goes the ultimate from Graves. Amy still left alive. Acorn going to go down first to Marin. They're still chasing on towards Snoopy. A good pillar is going to separate him from the choke point. Red buff even gets taken away there. I think it was PYL that picked
No, that was March that got it. Survived on about 67 health. March able to turn around and get the smite down. So they get this red buff secure. But they do give over first blood to the Trundle, which is not a good news story. Imp now in a little bit of trouble. Although he actually steps forward against Maidong. Yep.
And here comes PYL. Skin confused me. I thought that was red buff. He hasn't been spotted out. The binding not going to connect onto STYZ there. He just takes the dark passage to safety.
So that should have gone horribly wrong for LGD, I mean.
Yep.
They're against a level 6 Rise. They fight in a choke point. Amy face checks Snoopy, but they burn the equalizer way too early. The other thing that had happened was Punisher had actually ulted the creep wave. So he didn't even have his ultimate during that, but the exhaust came up trumps as opposed to what was a flash from Snoopy. So overall, what was a bad situation for LGD actually turned out very well as they picked up the first blood. Had the potential to go completely pear-shaped.
We take a look at the top side of the map now. You mentioned before this game that Marin's going to have a difficult time pushing out. Seems like he's going to have a difficult time heading back to base as well. Saquon's been pressuring him quite well with this Rumble pickup.
Yeah, and ever since we gave back full damage to creeps on the Flame Spitter, it really is hard for Trundle to win this lane. So probably needs to be Amy or someone that gets in top lane and helps the Troll push back. Although now it looks like he'll finally get to return to base.
And STYZ, meantime, has picked up a BF sword for himself, as well as that pickaxe. Siva also picked up a BF sword, but does have the Caulfield's Warhammer to boot.
Yeah, so STYZ should start going towards attack speed now. This has been such a quiet early game. Dragon hasn't been looked at by either teams. They've stayed in weird standard lanes, overextending for majority of the game.
So it's going to be a Mountain Dragon that spawns here. Saint were able to pick up the Ocean Dragon earlier, but not prioritizing going for the second Dragon spawn. Maidong is going to miss the Death Sentence that gets thrown out towards PYL and Imp there. It's still a very isolated matchup in the mid lane here. Snoopy's found a nice CS lead for himself. He's about 15 CS ahead of this Victor.
Victor, of course, has the assist. You know, he's going to be relevant at all stages of the game, Punished. Victor's just that kind of champion right now in a very healthy spot for a control mage.
It really seems like now LGD very content with just farming out with Saint. Trying to scale up as much as possible. Saint probably getting the better end of that for now.
Yeah, 100%. Like, Saint should be looking to stay in standard lanes. I mean, they've got their Caitlyn farming safely underneath the turret. That's a good news story for STYZ. They've got their Rise free farming mid lane. I mean,
no pressure.
Snoopy's having a great time of this so far. As you said, absolutely no pressure. And the only member that was overextending was Acorn. Sure, he gave up first blood in a jungle skirmish that went a little bit awry, but that's not really all that bad for the Saint lineup right now. And they should be completely happy with how this early game has turned out.
Top of that, they got the Ocean Dragon, keeping themselves nice and topped up throughout this extended laning phase. So STYZ actually getting pushed away from his tower for now.
Yeah, first proactive move here. Amy is also on the bottom side of the map. They knew that the Graves was taking topside Raptors. It's a lot of damage.
PYL just missing those bindings there. That could have definitely meant to death for STYZ or Maidong. That first turret is going to fall down in favor of LGD. They found themselves a small gold lead off of that too.
Yeah, that was actually really nicely played by LGD. That's just an error on March's behalf, you know, going to the wrong side of the map. They're now going for a deep invade here. See whether Punish actually knows where they are.
Blue buff has respawned here. 4 members of LG looking to try and take this one down.
Oh, PYL.
He's not going to face check it. Puts the Tormented Soil down and
Got him.
finds
Knew
them.
exactly where they were.
Good job.
So nicely played from the support player of LGD. And they're playing this game much more methodically than we're used to seeing LGD in recent weeks.
This is a lot cleaner of a game spawn so far.
This 100% is a clean game so far, Fish.
See, it was a prediction, not a wrap-up. Not a summary.
And we'll see whether they stick with this, right? Because Dragon is going to be a big contest right now. They go back. They have their first major item spike in the fact that Imp has been able to finish out that Essence Reaver. You know, they can go back, pick up the jungle item also on their release. She takes neutrals incredibly quickly. They still need to be worried about Acorn's early power on this Rumble, but honestly, LGD have pretty much hit stride at the right point.
Yep, Acorn does have that Hextech Proto belt, so going to be putting on his best Punish impersonation of this game. As like you mentioned, Amy was able to head back to base and pick up the Runic Echoes for his jungle item of choice, now building a little bit more survivability. The Ruby Crystal and Null Magic Mantle being picked up. Saint and LGD both looking towards this Mountain Dragon now, but neither team pulling the trigger or heavily contesting the area just yet.
Yeah, finally they move in a little bit of force right now, LGD. But you're right, everyone just kind of happy to draw up battle lines and not really overcommit for these objectives so far.
Scuttle Crab does fall in favor of LGD, so for about a minute and a half now, they're going to have extra vision over towards the Baron Pit.
And you know, for every tiny advantage that Saint have in this game, LGD have some in their own court. I mean, 8 CS in the mid lane, it's going to be about 8 CS in the bottom lane. Even though top CS is about 18, you know, there's a kill on the Trundle. Extra gold in Amy's back pocket helps him out versus March, who has been farming furiously at this stage of the game.
Both teams really neutralizing each other so far. It's really going to be that first team fight, it feels, that will dictate the flow of this game.
You just don't know when it's going to come because Saint don't want the team fight at all. They're just here to trim waves, set it up, farm forever.
Well, March wants this Mountain Dragon, though, which could signal the rest of the Saint lineup to move closer towards this pit. LGD not in
taking a lot of damage,
yet, but yes, they are. Good damage is going to be coming out. Ultimate getting popped by March here just to clip the rest of the team. They're forced to back out, so LGD might just take this.
Yeah, they just started the Drake a little bit too early. They've pinged out top wave. Acorn's going to look to see if he can get any damage done to the turret, but LGD just win out. They get good poke damage out of the Sivir, and they're able to take down the second dragon of the game. Yep,
Mountain Dragon to 4, going over towards LGD. Acorn going to do what he can to push this top lane turret down as fast as possible. LGD just going to run Marin back up towards the top side.
What a bizarre early game out of both teams.
Yep.
Like, lane swap is matched after only the first wave. Now we're going back into a lane swap situation because recurve bow's being picked up. They don't feel like the Caitlyn can go with the Sivir anymore, so they're moving the Thresh and the Caitlyn into that top side. This is honestly bizarro League of Legends.
Well, Marin is now going to head up to the top side of the map to try and stop Acorn from pushing this turret down. Got about half of its health and damage there. Mike Dong is up there, and so is STYZ, ready to take down the top lane out of turret. They will be able to take it down, so they equalize the turrets between LGD and Saint.
And we're all squared up, and everyone is just playing at such a slow pace. Finally, it looks like maybe a fight's going to break out.
PYL going to get jumped on there by Marsh. Cocoon comes out to stop the aggressive play from the Graves. Equalizer was even popped by Acorn there to close any escape routes that
yeah,
PYL
another very early equalizer has been burnt. See whether that leads to any kind of team fight up here on the top side of the map.
They're trying to get around Imp and Marin up on the top side. Death sentence does come out from Mike Dong, but not going to connect there. As there's a flash forward from March, picks up a kill on towards Imp. Marin out a little bit of trouble, gets stuck into the ultimate of Thresh there, but Acorn gets taken out in return as Punish puts down a good Chaos Storm and a good gravity field to lock him down.
Just such a pedestrian game out of both teams. I mean, they flash forward. Now Snoopy is looking for some cheeky plays. He's not going to find anything. Nice pathing there from Punish, but Imp gets picked off and, you know, they wander into turret range. PYL is able to snare them up and Punish takes them down. This is such a weird game of League of Legends out of both teams.
It certainly is. As Saint now going to be able to take down the mid lane outer turret and give themselves the turret advantage. No response from LGD as PYL going to get hooked up by Mike Dong, gets stunned down by the Rise as well. Tries to pop the ultimate and run away. Amy doing his best to lock down the remaining members of Saint. Is able to escape there. But Saint a little bit more proactive in this game.
Yeah, 100%. They're able to get into the mid lane turret. First real advantage in this whole series over to Saint right now. They've got about 1,000 gold lead. And we already mentioned that composition is much better balanced right now. Rumble's just coming online. STYZ, he's going towards his first major item. He's nice and healthy in this game. Even the Rise, He's probably had enough for the roller for a very long time. He's just sat here and cleared out waves. Now going back to base. But no one can really go with Acorn's Rumble.
Acorn does have the Haunting Guys being picked up here already, as they're going to jump aggressively on top of Imp there. He just gets 100 to nothing by this Rumble.
As I said, no one can really go with Acorn's Rumble. He's just able to pull the trigger. Imp had absolutely no summoner spells available, only had the ulti, and you couldn't run away quick enough. Acorn gets a solo kill.
So much magic penetration on Acorn right now. This game's swinging in favor of Saint, it seems. Slowly tipping over to the point where they don't need to just sit down and farm up. As Punish gonna get jumped on the top by March there. Puts down the Chaos, so I'm gonna try and chase him down even further. Amy looking for the kill, but Theft Senders, Dark Passage, gonna take him to safety.
Yeah, so he gets out, burns the ultimate on Punish. Now the wave clear is gone in mid lane, and they want to continue to try and push this one through.
Ace and Hall being used there just to chip out one member of the LGD lineup. Marin puts down a pillar, looking to try and start an initiation. It's 4 and 5 for now. No Imp to stop this push coming out from Saint. And Saint have now found a nice 1,000 gold lead for themselves. It's just looking like it's going to start to grow even more.
Yeah, and you feel that once again, the scaling is still on side of Saint. They have a better range advantage. They have a really nice siege comp the later this game goes. And they've got the right members of themselves ahead. 30 CS now for the Rise in the mid lane. As Acorn is just sitting really nice in a mid-game power spike. He's going to get better as the game goes on as well. He's going to be able to force people off turrets with that equalizer. They have very clear win conditions right now. Whereas LGD is kind of like, if Myron gets big enough to generate a pressure point on the map, they're able to knock down turrets. But apart from that, very hard for them to get in range of structures.
You know, we have seen Myron do it before on Trundle. We have seen him carry the game for LGD by being that split push threat. Let's see if he can do it again here as he's picked up that Spirit Surge. Still sitting on the Tiamat for now. Imp almost gets caught out. Smartly FaZe checks the brush with his Boomerang Blade instead.
This is a very slow game by both team standards. 4 kills at only 20. Only 4 kills at 20 minutes in. No real pressure being put on any of the structures either. Really is just that one turret advantage for Saint right now that gives them any form of gold lead. Myron not really big enough to run at the Caitlyn yet. It's just going to be relegated to clearing outside waves. Same thing can be said for the Sivir. And I just feel that Saint's composition this time is being allowed to come online much earlier than it should.
Very slow game, so I'll have to see what LGD can do in response. For now, both teams just look like they're going back into farming mode. Dragon is going to be respawning in about a minute, about 30 seconds here.
Do you reckon that Amy picked Elise so he didn't have an ultimate?
It's possible.
Do you, this is why I wish I could interview them, to ask the hard-hitting questions.
To be fair, I think he picked Elise because it was banned against him in the first game.
Oh, no, it's his best champion, definitely. But I wonder if the reason it is his best champion. Oh, Myron.
Gonna get locked down by Mike Dong. There goes to fly backwards as well as the ultimate. Subjugate gonna try and keep himself alive a bit longer. Good flash over the wall, keeps him safe. But Dragon's up. This could be Saint's Dragon to take.
Potentially be the Dragon. As we mentioned, it is the Infernal one. They have a good scaling comp. Imp's running out of base. Myron does have the teleport available.
Teleport from Acorn coming deep into the territory of LGD. Amy looking for the steal, gets it, so he's able to take down the Infernal Dragon, but there's the Equalizer straight on top of 2 members of LGD. They're trying to run away through the choke point. Acorn finds the snipe onto Punish with the Harpoon.
But honestly, the fact that Amy's able to get in there and steal away the Dragon, good news story. Oh, did he? No, Saint got the Dragon, so didn't manage to do it. I swear he picked it up.
Yeah, Amy got
and they just put it on the wrong side.
They've got, there we go.
There we go. Okay, so the fact that Amy was able to steal that Dragon makes it worth it.
And they're baiting out a Baron play here. Saint just hiding inside the pit. They haven't started it. Baron's their friend for now, but they just started up right up and immediately. They're going to try and shred through this one. They're already taking a lot of damage. Marsh is so deep into the back lines. Takes a lot of damage from the Baron, but it forces them out.
Yeah, Hexdrinker is popped, and meanwhile they just give away a turret in the mid lane. Imp able to push that one up. Side waves are absolutely massive right now for LGD, so they need to go deal with them.
That was a risky play coming out from Saint. Gives LGD a bit of breathing room.
Yeah, that was a really poor play actually from Saint. They didn't do enough, a good enough job of sweeping out Vision. Aegon was standing on a ward the whole time. And then they didn't really re-sweep the pit either. So in the end, a little bit of a misstep means that LGD come back within 300 gold.
It's only a very even game once again, which was looking to be the tipping point for Saint. They still have that very nice scaling team composition to take to LGD later on in this match. A little bit less proactiveness coming up from Amy once he gets this Elise again, which is surprising, seeing that Elise is more of the early game champion.
Yeah, should be the ganking jungler if we've ever seen one. But both teams, like, in very strange fashion, just look like they're more than happy to scale up into the later stages of the game. And for Saint, I can understand. You've got the Caitlyn, you've got the Ryze, you're probably feeling good. For LGD, unless you're really banking on the Trundle, I just don't get it right now.
Well, they've seen him do that before. Looking to try and do it again here.
They're just playing so incredibly slow.
Story of this match. It gives us some time to take a look at the items that have been picked up so far. Snoopy completed this core build. Rite of Ages and Saracen Brace being picked up. SDYZ does have the Infinity Edge and Hurricane as well.
Yeah, it looks like he's going towards the GA. I like that as the next pickup. Given the tempo of the game, there's going to be one explosive team fight that really does swing it. And you want to be able to survive through all of that. You know, Ryze is quite tanky due to the health and the shield that comes off the Seraph. So any flat resistances are good on the champion. But STYZ, he's a monster right now. He's got his 2-item spikes. Ryze is absolutely massive. We've already seen what Acorn does versus people like Imp. Just 100 to 0s them, deletes them off the map. So pressure really is on Punished on Victor to go absolutely berserk in this game.
Imp doesn't even have his Zeal upgrade just yet. He went to rush the Hex Drinker after the engagement he had with Acorn in the bottom lane. Didn't quite like the outcome of getting 100 to 0 so quickly by a Rumble.
Was it another Infernal Drake after this one?
I did not see, actually.
That's twice in 2 games, Fish.
It was a big team fight, Spawn. Well, not really. It was just an equalizer flash. we'll get there eventually. Still got some time.
I'm just trying to think what they prioritize now. We've already seen them try and bait the Baron once on blue side. That's a very viable tactic. It's going to be an Ocean Drake next, so probably not going to be a huge fight over that one, unless LGD want to continue to stack them through. So, honestly, we might see another 6 minutes of, like, absolute just farming. Like, draw up, this is your half of the map, this is my half of the map. And once everyone has 3 items, let's go for it.
And that's really starting to look like it's in favor of Saint. You can see March got 2 major items. Acorn now has that Sonya's Hourglass as well.
Ooh,
lots of
hit
penetration.
March.
They do get March though. They get the Cocoon as well, but no follow-up again. LGD just want to farm, and Saint are like, sure, we'll do that too. Punish now going to get jumped on by Acorn up on the top side of the map. There goes the Chaos Storm getting put down. Sonya's going to be put back down on by Acorn there. As Punish tries to duke it out, go 1-on-1 against him. Flamespitter just out of range, but he's got friends as March and Maidon going to try and take him down. Meanwhile, Acorn's being jumped on by Amy. LGD find the first kill of that fight as Maidon going to get chased away. Here comes 2 teleports coming into the top side of the map. Jungler, top laner and mid laner being taken out on both sides. Here comes Marin, gets the subjugate down towards Snoopy, takes down Maidon. PYL's deep into this fight. Snoopy's the next target there. Going to get chased on by every single member of LGD, but he's kiting quite nicely to escape the fight. It's just a 2-for-2 trade at the end.
Oh,
but
Amy
still
missed.
chasing. March going to get taken down. Amy trying to take them down. Has to run away. Imp now takes a lot of damage to the back lines. STYZ gets jumped up by this troll. March just clubbing away at that Caitlyn. And it almost takes out Amy in the back half of that. So it's a 3-for-2 trade eventually.
Yeah, huge team fight in the end. And it was Marin that just kept running at the carries of Saint and just was unrelenting, would not let them go. 2-0 and 2 now on Trundle. An overcommit onto Punish. He eventually did fall down, but that went way better than you would expect out of LGD.
Essentially at 5-5 in terms of kills in this match so far. LGD have brought the goal lead back to their half, but it's just been rather stable between these 2 teams.
And look at how many bullets they were putting into Marin. I mean, STYZ and March are just sitting there on 2 attack damage carries, trying to slay a troll, but with a subjugate, with people dying around him, he was just getting so much health back from his passive, and Marin was literally a monster in that game, team fight.
And you said Punish really had to come out big in those fights. He got caught out, but he made the best of that situation, drawing so many people away, got Acorn taken down in return.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, Acorn overcommitted for that one more time, used the equalizer on only 1 member, and was very heavily punished for that.
Dragon's up.
Yep, Dragon will be available. They're trying to bait it this time.
They're going to be able to find March here. Gets locked down by the pillar and the Cocoon. The Graves going to be able to take a Dark Passage, to safety. Mike Dong is able to save him.
Yeah, that should be enough, actually, to just secure another Dragon over to LGD. This is going to be number 3. Top lane's huge.
Big wave.
At the same time, they're going to actually just watch that crash into the turret, see whether they send Punished up there.
They still get the Ocean Dragon. The next Dragon to spawn is going to be another Ocean. We have the potential of seeing another Elemental Dragon. They take it right at spawn. We'll have to see what LG decides to do when that one comes back up.
And Myron really does feel to be the win condition right now. And once again, he's going for the team fight Trundle. He's got the Tiamat, sure, but he's probably going towards something like Oranguin's Omen as his next item. And all his plan is to just run at STYZ. If STYZ is hitting me, he can't be on members like Imp, like Punish, and I'll create enough room for these mid-range carries to be able to put out all of their AoE damage.
Myron's actually opted to not complete his Tiamat either, so it means we might not see him split push as much as Acorn. Item helps him clear waves fast, but not going to regenerate health. So going for tanky items first, it seems. Does have the Frozen Heart now and got a giant spell too.
March just altered for a Krog. That's an interesting decision. We'll see whether that comes back to bite him at all.
Tend to see that a lot in the LPL. Small camps being taken away by Graves ults. It's interesting choices. Don't know if they're the best choice spawn, but interesting. We've seen a few of those this game. In this series in general. Meanwhile, you see STYZ, he's picked up his Mortal Reminder, so already has a lot of armor penetration. Going to stop Trundle from healing quite a bit as well when he puts those bullets into him in the next fight.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense after what you saw actually come out of Trundle in that fight. So, like the itemization out of STYZ. And once again, team's just happy to continue to farm up, although that's a big ulti.
Chaos Song going to come down, but PYL misses another binding. A good Dark Passage one more time from Maidong is going to be able to save March. Got jumped on there. There's big ultimates being burnt by both teams.
Yeah.
But still, no fights taking place. Dead even in terms of gold again. The gold graph is just a flat line right now.
And it was actually a QSS. It wasn't even a GA that was opted for out of Snoopy, and now March in big trouble.
March has been doing this a lot recently. Mike Dong's been putting on overtime to try and save it, now taking a lot of damage himself. The Thresh gets knocked down by Cocoon. LGD find a pick.
And time again, that's the strong side of the map right now for Saint. I mean, they have all 5 members up there. Myron's just split pushing bottom lane by himself, and they're still getting picked off and chunked out one at a time. Just bad coordination coming out of the Saint lineup, and we've seen this one too many series now, Fish.
Yep. If you guys haven't watched it, watch the series between LGD and OMG. Kind of tells you the Myron story when he gets Trundle. It seems like the exact same thing is happening right now. He's not as huge as he was then. Still 2-0-2 with some major items completed.
Yeah, he's still unkillable as far as like team fights go.
They fight over the Krugs.
Acorn gets them both.
Poor Myron. Still going to go back to the lane and start pushing this one out.
I guarantee now he upgrades the Tiamat. That's it. I'm sick of this.
In anger. He's probably going to go towards the Titanic Hydra.
Yeah, you'd have to think he goes Titanic Hydra and something like an Iceborne Gauntlet as his last item to make sure that he's sticky enough.
The over cooldown reduction build.
Yeah, he would be way over cooldown reduction.
60% doesn't work that way, Myron. Once again, back into very slow, very quiet farming phase between the two teams. LGD have a very slight goal lead. Not that significant.
And once again, you still feel like their composition isn't as good as the Saint lineup because they've got the Caitlyn, they've got Ryze.
Well, Myron's actually... Okay, he was waiting in base for a significant amount of time. Thought they could definitely be looking for a teleport play. Instead, looks for the Randuin's Omen.
Yep, was typing that one into the client. Randuin's Pink Ward picked up by Myron. And yeah, he's just full tank Trundle at this stage of the game. Good luck killing him.
Sitting at 4 completed items. Still got to upgrade the Tiamat and get rid of his final slot to be that major beast we see him grow to be when he gets this champion. The flip side, Acorn looking for an Abyssal Scepter, it seems, to get even more magic penetration from his build.
Yep, just wants to be like kind of able to sit in the front line, put out as much damage as possible.
Voice Star being picked up by Snoopy as well, so Ryze going to be able to chunk through Myron when he gets his hands on him.
But will they ever get their hands on each other? Because no one is doing like
anything.
Proactive play has gone out the window in this game. Now both teams just playing to not lose at this stage.
Well, we've got a minute till Dragon respawns. It's going to be another Ocean Dragon.
Yep.
Could be possibilities for a fight coming out from Saint. Also, LGD might just take that one away, and we could see the first fight take place at Elder Dragon, which will be 6 minutes after.
And you know, for a game that was done and dusted by this time, with pretty much 30 kills in it last time around.
LGD's fastest win this split. Probably going to be LGD's longest game this split as well now.
Yeah, certainly looks to be the case. I mean, they had some very long games last split. I'm thinking about the Gangplank game where Wayless had like 450 CS. Was trying to solo carry.
28,000 gold or something?
Yeah. I think Myron in that game was top lane Morgana with a Mikhail's Crucible.
Here I'll just get a binding on towards Mygong.
They've now caught out Myron potentially.
Acorn also has to flash away there. Equalizer comes down, separates Imp and Myron. But Snoopy had to burn his teleport to get down towards the bottom lane. Meanwhile, March caught out once again. Mygong is going to be another time saving him with the Dark Passage.
This support player for Saint is working overtime.
He's the support they needed.
He really is, and they've got no big team fighting ultimate now out of their Rumble. They've burnt their teleport.
They're pinging Baron.
They are. They want to trade objectives right now.
Don't know about this. Gets a hook on towards a black shielded PYL. This Baron has been chipped here, so it's going to deal some damage towards Mygong and STYZ.
Amy, meanwhile, just doing the dragon by himself.
Hello.
Has got a full tank build, however, so this one will take quite some time.
Only got that Runic Echoes to help out March, and Mygong have taken quite a bit of damage from this Baron. They're going to start it up immediately here. They're going to be able to take it down pretty quickly. No response from LGD just yet. PYL trying to get in towards the pit. This Ocean Dragon is going to fall down, and that forces Mygong to back up away.
So one more time, they try and make the sneaky Baron play, but there's just nothing happening there. They give away all control of the side lanes back to LGD, who will just reset the map, go pick up so much farm for themselves. And we're going toward... I never thought I would say this. This is a one team fight game between Saint and LGD. We haven't had it yet. There's no advantages on either. Finally, Acorn recall, so at least something funky happens in the game.
What's going on?
We're going towards a one-team fight game.
They had, what, 26 kills last game by this time, even earlier?
Yep, earlier.
Now we're sitting at 11. These two teams just changed their playstyle over the course of one game.
So it is going to be the Ravenous Hydra, also picked up by Myron. He's got a big creep wave down bottom, so we'll see if they make the play now.
He wants Scrum.
He's just trying to keep out of vision for as long as possible before he has to go pick that up. Stack it to the biggest creep wave known to man.
Now going to show himself. Will be to take it down. As March gets caught out one more time here. Doesn't get tagged by the Binding or the Cocoon.
And once again, strong side of the map. LGD able to get control over the Baron pit because there's just no one really moving as a cohesive unit from Saint. It's just March trying to... He's like Gandalf standing on the bridge against a Balrog. And you know what? Time and time again, he has fallen into lava.
Hello. I think he's a little bit sick.
Why do you think that?
He's wearing a mask.
I wore a mask over there. They're comfy.
The masks are comfy?
Yeah.
What?
It's like...
I don't see any scenario where wearing a mask is comfortable.
Why not?
Why would it be comfortable?
I don't know. Each their own, dude. I don't judge you. Yeah, so here we are. They're still farming fish.
They're not doing anything yet. We'll let you guys know when they do. I mean, we can check in with what they're building so far. Like, nothing too much has been built up or completed yet. Acorn does have that extra magic penetration with the Abyssal picked up. Looks like he's going for a Void Staff or maybe the Haunting Guys next.
Yeah, into the Andrew's Torment. Burning Face potentially being picked up.
March has got his
another Zeal picked up by STYZ. So, oh no, it's only his second one. It's going to be the Rapid Fire Cannon. I thought it was a third. I was like, that is awesome. 100% crit, but no, we're fine here.
It's 80%. Still a lot once he completes the time. Critting for days. The flip side, Impy's gone for that more of Malmortius with the Phantom Dancer, sitting on his Doran's Blade to sell.
Well, he doesn't really have to build an armor penetration item this game. He can go something like a Bloodthirster.
Yep, the most armor is probably on Acorn since he has that Zonya's Hourglass.
Oh, STYZ.
He's been caught out. Myron just duking it out with it. Flashes forward, gets the bite, and one final clobber's going to take him down. Suddenly, Acorn's been pincered a little bit here. He's running for the heals. Teleport's going to come out. Has the pillar. Going to stop it from getting back to base. Imp is now wrapping around as well. Maro's not doing enough damage on his own, but once this Sivir gets here, it's going to be bad news bears for Acorn. It puts down the Equalizer, tries to go toe-to-toe against Imp, who just casually sidesteps the flame spitter. More Mount Ward is going to get popped as well. That's 2 kills for LGD.
Yeah, so LGD able to grab 2 kills. We might not even get a team fight, because with that, they can potentially move towards the Baron area. That is the Equalizer and the Hyper Carry gone. But no, it looks like they just want to try and break turrets.
Lisa Morgana uses a pick comp, neither being used in that fight there. As Marsh going to get jumped on by a flash from Amy. They just get a turret for Imp. Has to be a little bit careful there, but my dog's going to get taken down by a big Chaos Storm. Imp's going to be able to pick up the last tick of damage.
Just flash forward.
Going to get flashed on by Imp. He has to flash away in respect there as LGD have finally broken the base against Saint here. 39 minutes into the match.
Yeah, and maybe they just put Saint to sleep because it looked like they had no idea what was happening there. STYZ just getting soloed out by the Trundle, and then they're able to turn around and grab the pickup, and everyone from Saint, they sit under a tier 2. They're like, this is fine. We're safe. Every single flash burnt.
They're not done yet. Saint just want to keep farming and stalling the game, it seems. They don't want to fight till probably 50 minutes in this match now.
But they're fine. They've got they've got magic penetration on the rise. But this should have been where they were looking to pull the trigger. Now, I don't know if anyone can kill Marin.
Well, they're still now they're 5,000 gold behind LGD. And Marin, like you mentioned, he's got 5 items completed. Probably enough gold to pick up his 6 as well. Snoopy just not letting him pick up this final range minion.
4-0-2, 350 CS nearly. Marin is huge.
Big top laner on a troll too. As, yep, they're going to start Baron again. I think we've seen Saint do this a couple of times. Once again, STYZ takes a little bit of damage for it. March now going to take some too. Acorn's in this pit trying to do what he can to chunk it down. And for the 3rd time this game, they have to back off. But LG, this time, they want to look for a fight. Cocoon's going to miss. Good Equalizer separates the team. Acorn's been jumped on, has to flash away. As ImpPYL going to be able to chase him down. They're going to be able to take down the Rumble. Meanwhile, Punish was able to equalize or punish STYZ there as Ushuang. I mean, not Ushuang. I'm just confusing everybody here in this game. My dog's going to get taken down too. As there goes the laser. He gets killed by Punish. LGD find another team fight off of the Baron.
Yeah, certainly do. And you can see that Rise wasn't able to join there. Snoopy just too busy trying to deal with Myron. They kind of butt heads with each other. Myron doesn't look any worse off. Misses a pillar. But we'll be able to tank up the turret, it looks like. Running through. Looks like they want to finish the game. They've had enough of this.
Myron's going to be tanking up this bottom lane wave. No Baron buff for LGD, but they're just going to push on towards the base with the Super Minions anyway. They've already got the first Nexus turret. They're looking for the second. And after a very slow game here, LGD, they're able to close out the series 2-0 in the best of 3 series against Saint.
And game 1 was definitely more action-packed.
Yep.
More stuff happened. But game 2, quite methodically, LGD farmed till 6 items. And we say this about teams like Team WE. Don't let LGD get max items on people like Myron and people like him, because they will eventually win the game.
Yep.
And that's what they did.
Imp did it there, found STYZ wandering through the jungle.
I don't even know how you give an MVP for that game. It's going to go to Myron. Like, it has to.
He killed STYZ, which started the play to open up the game.
But I think Acorn was legitimately confused. He was like, I have no idea what we did that game. I locked in Rumble to have mid-game team fights.
And I killed people. And he... 2 very contrasting games between LGD and Saints. One was very bloody, one was very quiet.
And I honestly think that this actually shows the problems with both teams. They have no consistency in their gameplay. They don't have a consistent style. And, you know, that game looked like they had no idea what was going on. They were sitting there, farming out, being very, very patient, sure. But when you're scaling against Caitlyn Rise... and like your reasoning for it is like, we are better players. Like we have Imp and Myron is the response to Caitlyn Rise is not a good reason to just farm a game out to 50 minutes fish. That is dangerous. And they didn't get punished for it, sure. But that could have gone either way. That was a coin flip game.
Well, I mean, it says the same about Saint's weaknesses there too. Late game team comp, farming out, they can't finish.
Hang on a second, but Saint, like the best player on Saint, the most experienced is Acorn. Samsung Blue Acorn, like fantastic, legendary player, right? LGD have been to Worlds recently. Like they don't have the same excuses that a new team in Saint have. Saint are going to work through these difficulties. LGD this year, they said that they picked up Myron after last year's disappointing Worlds to get back there. This is not a team that is anywhere near Worlds caliber.
They've had a very down and up and down a little bit recently season so far. They picked up wins against OMG and Snake. and just dropped it to Game Talents. Now, they do pick up a win against Saint, but game number 2 was a little bit wonky from LGD, it seems.
It was a scrappy game. Look, nothing really happened there. So I think that, once again, never really looked like it was in question, but that was not how you want to win games.
Well, let's first take a look at today's results. As Snake, they took on OMG in game number 1 and found a 2-0 victory after an on and off performance coming in from the Snake lineup, as EDG took on Vici, and they found a very, very decisive 2-0 victory.
Yeah, they certainly did. EDG tried to get us back on track. I mean, Snake are winning quickly, EDG are winning quickly. LGD won quickly game 1 fish, and then decided, you know what? We like the way League of Legends feels tonight. Let's take it a little bit slower.
And this was the rematch from Spring Split, where Saint were able to find their first victory in the LPL. As we take a look at the standings here, EDG still sitting at the top of Group A with 8 wins and not a single loss just yet. Game Challenge and Snake just behind them, with Newbie, Invictus, and Saints rounding out that group.
I don't know they are just behind them anymore. EDG is putting serious distance between them and second on the ladder.
It's quite a lot.
3 games, 2.5 games if you Game Talents. That is quite impressive.
Pretty much is. This Group B, we can take a look at them very quickly. They didn't play a game today, but RNG, they're sitting at 6-1 with Team WE still a game and a half behind them, so to speak. Iron Man Vici still tied up 4-4 with LGD. Found their 3rd win. They 1 win off from playoff spawn.
Yeah, exactly right. LGD is just still 1 game away from making playoffs in this Group B. See if they're able to get it done.
It seems like LG are always just 1 game off from playoffs. If we take a look at tomorrow's matches, it's going to be Game Talents taking on IMA, as well as Newbie taking on RNG.
And this is going to be really interesting because IMA, Game Talents, they're both young teams. They're starting to climb back towards some semblance of form. So that's going to be a really key game number 1. But RNG versus Newbie. Uzi versus his old team. Newbie in a very big slump right now. They're going to want to hit back really hard against what is one of the best teams in the LPL right now. And I don't think RNG are going to give them that opportunity. Newbie look like they need to go really late, and RNG played the early game quite well.
Essentially, we saw that against EDG, where RNG had a very phenomenal, one of their games was a very one-sided victory. Game 2 for RNG, and that was their only loss, their only best-of-3 series loss so far in the summer split. It looks like they want to try and continue that trend throughout cross-conference. They definitely don't want to drop this game against Newbie, especially with Pecco playing in the team.
Yeah, Uzi wants to take it to his bottom lane. He was subbing for a lot of it, so I'm really looking forward to game 2 tomorrow night. That should be a cracker.
Well, let's take a look at first at the games that we had here tonight. First up, Saint against LGD. Let's take a look at the MVP for that final game. It's going to go over towards Imp. Okay.
Yeah, Imp had a fantastic game on Sivir, able to do 30% of the team's damage, 67% kill contribution there. Got soloed out by Akon. I hope we get to see that one. But, key ultimates throughout the game.
Fortunately, no highlights for Imp there. It's just going straight into his interview.
You find highlights for Imp. I don't even know how they did that.
Neither do I. We already mentioned before that. It's going to be very difficult to find an MVP for that game. But, we have some more time. We can break down that game a little bit more. LGD, they're looking a little bit better, especially game 1. Looked a little bit better. Game 2, it was a little bit hit or miss, kind of.
Yeah, LGD looked like exactly where they were at Spring, right? Where they started really slowly. They start piecemealing it together. Longer the season goes, and by the end of the split, you're like, they could win the whole damn thing. Like, this team is so strange in that regard. And I hope that they get back towards there, because now they have PYL back on the team. Punished is playing much better with PYL, by the way, than what he was at the start of the season. And if Amy can find some form of consistency, and LGD can get a jungler that is able to every single game, gank lanes and turn it around, I think that they are in a reasonably good spot still.
It almost feels like Amy has one really great game and then just drops off for that second game. Doesn't kind of step up and be that proactive jungler that LGD needs. Hopefully we can track them a little bit more throughout Summer Split and see how they perform moving into playoffs here. Saints, on the other hand, this was the time during Spring Split where they picked up their first victory. Same team, haven't picked up a single victory just yet. They've had sparks of brilliance against different teams. Like Newbie, they had a pretty decent game. They had pretty decent games against some of the top teams here.
They had a pretty good game and a half against Newbie. I mean, they should have probably won that split, but at the end of the day, like, they're not able to get it done on a consistent basis, and inconsistency in best of 3 hurt you. Like, if we were still in 1-1 systems where, you can split the tie, they would have a couple more victories, because they do take some teams to game 3, but they're just honestly not coherent enough as a lineup.
So what do we see moving forward from Saint here? Because they've got Mike Dong now, who's proving to be a pretty decent support for the lineup. And once again, lots of individual talent, just never really this cohesion in the team, it seems.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Like, they just need to actually define what they want to achieve as a team, because right now they play like a lot of siege comps. They're not getting it done in team fights. Honestly, they're all over the shop, so I don't know what they need to do to pull it together.
Well, they're going to have to be another team that we'll track throughout the rest of this season, but that's all from us here tonight. On behalf of myself, Jake, Rusty, and Atlas as well. We'll see you guys tomorrow for more LPL action.